Imagine a machine that could create artificially generated memories. Now, imagine a dying man. Yeah, that's what To the Moon is. Um, Never mind. It's not a very good explanation. Let me try again. To the Moon is described to be an adventure role-playing game, which is odd because it's more of a graphic adventure game than anything. It presents a compelling story using sci-fi elements as a basis. Its concept of changing someone's memories with the help of technology is quite essential to the story of the game. I couldn't even imagine what To the Moon would look like without the sci-fi aspect. That would just completely change the story. Here's a quick rundown of how the concept is integrated into the game. Dr. Watts and Dr. Rosaline are scientists from the Sigmund Corp, which offers a wish fulfillment service to people on their deathbeds. The idea is that people who have a last wish that they really want to make a reality can actually get their memories changed, so that they remember achieving their desire. I'll get more into the morals behind this later. Besides the story, there's obviously a gameplay aspect to it too, although, well, let's just say I didn't enjoy it that much. The structure of the game is basically this. Read the dialogue and watch the cutscene that follows, and then collect artifacts in order to progress through the story. It basically repeats from there. The gameplay part is one of the only things I disliked from the game. To me, it's just really mundane and slightly breaks the flow of the story. I would have personally enjoyed it more without the gameplay aspect, but then it obviously wouldn't be much of a game anymore. Maybe that's just me though. Besides that, there was one other thing that bothered me. Let me fill you in on the story first though. Johnny is granted one last wish because he is near the end of his life. His wish is to go to the moon, hence the title of the game, and naturally, Dr. Rosaline and Dr. Watts try to fulfill his wish. They wander in Johnny's memories, witnessing what happened in his past, but they soon realize that he never had the desire to go to the moon when he was younger. Later in the game, it's revealed that he only wanted to go to the moon when he met his future wife, River, because if they would ever want to meet again and wouldn't find each other, they would meet on the moon. This leads Dr. Rosaline to think that the only way to reignite Johnny's desire to go to the moon is by Johnny and River never having met after their first encounter. So she quote-unquote removes River. That way, he would want to meet her on the moon just like he promised. After this key memory is changed, Johnny gets employed at NASA and works towards being an astronaut in order to finally be able to go to the moon. Now this is the part where I had some issues as to how the story ends. In the NASA building, one of the employees tells Johnny that he's going to have a partner with which he'll be going to the moon with. Suddenly, River shows up, and it's revealed that she's going to be his partner. The reason I didn't like the direction they took here is because it's forcing a happy ending. I'm honestly fine with happy endings, as long as it's introduced naturally and has a purpose, besides just quote-unquote satisfying the player. Good endings aren't always the best way of ending a story, and I think they could have taken the risk here. Besides, what were the chances that they would meet at the same NASA facility? Wasn't River moved far away to somewhere else? What I'm trying to say is that it seems improbable that they would have met again. I am in no way saying that To the Moon was a bad game, but it could have done better in some ways. This wasn't discussed much in the game itself, but in my opinion, I would never want to have my memories changed artificially. Both of the Sigmund Corp employees and Johnny mostly accept the fact that they're creating artificial memories, which I personally disagree with. Now here's my reason as to why. As a person, I hate being lied to, and changing a whole part of your memories, pretending like something happened that really didn't, is just a massive lie. Keep in mind that it's actually you lying to yourself, because you're the one desiring to change the past. In a way, wanting to change a memory of the past only has the purpose of feeling content with yourself, but what that really leads to is fake happiness. It's almost like cheating yourself. If you're really that desperate to change something in your past, you probably haven't enjoyed your time as a person and have some kind of conflict going on. Let's say I was in the same situation as Johnny. Every person has their regrets, including myself, and that's completely normal. But whenever I think about what would have happened if I changed any given thing in my past, be it something that impacted me tremendously or just smaller events, I take a step back and realize that I would never want anything to be changed. The reason I am this way is because every event in my life has shaped me to that. I believe that everything that's happened in your past was supposed to happen for a reason. In a recent news article published in August of this year, it was discussed that a Toronto hospital granted one of their dying patients one last wish. Technology was very much involved in helping her. Virtual reality goggles, to be more specific. Her wish was to travel to different places in the world, so with VR she could experience whatever place she wanted to, obviously pertaining to the constraints of a simulation though. Apparently they weren't just dumping a headset on their patient, but immersing her into an experience. They were progressing it so that they get the feeling that they're doing a trip, getting the experience before actually arriving at the destination, so getting on the plane, driving to the city, and any other event to create an illusion of reality. At this point in time, we're rapidly progressing in technology in a lot of ways, but we obviously need quite a bit more time to achieve the technological level seen into the moon. In fact, scientists are currently working on this right now. Steve Ramirez and Zhu Liu have successfully induced artificial memories into mice by injecting specific chemicals into the part of the brain used for memory formation. First, the mice were placed in a box where they could wander around and create a new memory of the environment. Then they were placed in a completely different box, but their memory of the first box was reactivated by the scientists, and simultaneously, the mice got shocked. When the mice returned to the first box, it triggered a fear response from them. So even though the first and second box were completely different from each other, they had different colors, scents, and shapes, the mice mistook the first for the second because they activated the memory of the first box, while it got shocked in the second. As a result, the mice linked the memory of getting shocked to the first box, while in reality, they were shocked in the second box. Now you're probably wondering, how could creating artificial memories help us in the future? Well, think about the people who suffer from mental illness. Patients with PTSD would be a perfect candidate. If we could completely remove their memories linked to the traumatic experience they witnessed, their symptoms would disappear and they could start living a normal life again. Patients who suffer from PTSD aren't the only ones who could benefit from this though. Scientists could innovate in other ways, like restoring memory paths in conditions like Alzheimer's, and therefore eliminate or at least reduce memory loss. If such a machine really was to exist though, how would that affect society? Well, in some ways this could be a positive, as previously mentioned, but in other ways it could go completely wrong. If the machine wasn't very accessible and was only left in the hands of doctors for treating disorders, then that would be extremely beneficial to society. On the other hand, if the machine was widely accessible, that could create an entire slew of problems. While most of society would be using it for themselves, who's to say that the machine couldn't be used on others for malicious purposes? Remember those mind eraser pens in Men in Black? What if corporations were to brainwash us with similar technology? It could be used to erase the past and rewrite history, something similar to what the corporation tries to achieve in Orwell's 1984. A situation like that seems highly unlikely though, so let's return to the ideas of using it on yourself. If you're constantly changing your memories, doesn't that mean that in theory you are rewriting yourself and thereby influencing your future actions? In what way would you still be the same person? Would you have any free will left? Your sense of identity could completely disappear. One press of a button and you're gone. While some might argue that humans are constantly distorting their own memories, influenced by outside sources, it's different to what a machine would do. Whenever the human brain recalls a memory, there's a chance that some details are rewritten, therefore becoming a misrepresentation of the event. Yes, the human brain is indeed very fragile, but you're not deliberately trying to rewrite or even erase a memory, the way you could with a machine. Fact of the matter is, this technology could completely twist society as we know it. No one would be the same anymore, and that's not what we want. Who knows? Only time will tell.